All right. Happy Monday, everyone. We are back again.
Mm-hmm.
This is episode 98, I think.
Ooh.
And we've gotten this question a few times, but I got it recently, maybe a week or two ago, and we're going to address it again. First thing though, we don't have very many people that listen on a Stitcher app, but if you do and you haven't heard, Stitcher is actually discontinuing its operations. So they're shutting that app down. It's August 29th is what it says in my notes. Yeah, that's up to them. I don't know if that's changing, staying the same. So August 29th, what's that, like 6 weeks or so, and you will no longer be able to use Stitcher. So go over to Apple. I don't like Apple. I don't know. Go over to Spotify. I don't like Spotify. Go to Google. I don't like Google. Find us somewhere else, I guess. So this question came in, and I'm going to be general. I don't want to blow up anybody's spot, but they've had their salon for quite a while, and they've noticed that times have changed. I keep losing staff to chair rental, feeling exhausted and really, really tired. Just wanted to see what helps you retain stylists, basically. Any welcome advice. So
that was the gist of
it. Yeah, there's a lot here, but I don't want to give away anyone's
I agree.
personal information or details. So first because
that's integrity.
Yeah. First, we've covered this a couple of times. I think there was a podcast we did called, I can look. It'll take 2 seconds. I think there was one called What Staff Really Wants, or What Employees Really Want. Let me see. And then there was another one too as well somewhere. Motivating Your Salon Team. So that's episode 82. I believe we covered some stuff there. And then, wow, maybe we haven't covered this in a while.
Got me.
Oh, episode 68. So that was December of 22. So
wow,
quite a while back.
Okay.
What do hair pros really want? Let's cover it again. So
yeah, because stuff's probably even changed since then. So.
Oh, definitely. It always changes. And that's what's fun about doing these sort of podcasts, because we can revisit these topics and have different advice, because as you move through business, and this is going to help you too, hopefully, but things are going to change all the time. And hopefully you're going to change things all the time. Do you want to kick off, or do you want me to kick off with a thought?
I want to say this one thing, because I think the person that I messaged might have been doing hair as long as I have. I'm not really sure, but we've also run into I've even talked to some owners that I used to work for, and we're all on the same page that things have changed, which things are always changing. But I will say, where we were running businesses 10 years ago, it didn't feel like it was changing as fast. And I think social media and all of that has a big play on it feeling like it's changing more often, because you're flooded with so much information. So those of us that have been in the game a long time, I think where we are now, if you're not innovating and pivoting all the time, which is exhausting, you're not going to make it. But that I don't think was as big of a deal 10, 15 years ago. You didn't have to innovate and pivot as quick or as often as I feel right now the industry is looking for.
So this salon was actually, I just took a peek, and it's on year 15 or entering year 15.
So this makes sense, right?
So quite a while. Yeah, for sure.
It's just it's a different world now, and it feels exhausting as an owner at times, because you truly are trying to, you've got to find a culture where your staff is happy, but also as an owner, you're happy. And it's a very hard balance, I guess. It's just tricky, I guess, if you've been in it this long. If not, it's all you know. So you're probably fine right now.
Yeah, if you're a salon owner that's just starting out, whether you're a commission salon or you're a booth rental salon or studios or whatever, right? You're probably concerned with the small stuff, because you're not there yet. You're probably concerned with, like, what coffee should I offer? And no one really cares.
And you haven't been hit hard with much, so you're just like, this is fun. It's going to be so great.
Right. And
you have a movement with that, like a just different energy.
For sure. So I think that's a great point. And I think it goes with we always talk about foundations. You know, what is your mission? What is your vision? How has that changed over the years? Has it not changed over the years? Should it have changed over the years? I don't know.
Yes.
I haven't talked to this person in particular, except on social media and very limited.
Right.
So the first thing I would say is, what are you doing now to retain staff and keep them engaged? What are you doing? That's the first question. You know, what have you done in the past? What have you already tried? What's worked? What didn't work? Have you, and then from there, sort of a follow-up, have you attempted to replicate anything that's worked or adjust and remeasure something that hasn't? Because just because something is not working now, just like you said, how times change, it doesn't mean it won't work in the future.
Correct.
And it doesn't mean it won't work if you target the correct audience. For example, you have to, you said, what exactly are you looking for in an employee? Is that what you said earlier? A minute ago?
I have no idea. Maybe.
I think you said something like, what are you looking for? Oh, maybe you didn't, but that's where I was going with this is you have to figure out exactly, in caps, what you're looking for in an employee. So if someone, for example, walks through our doors and we're in the interview process and they're starting out with telling us how they're leaving, I don't hire that person.
Oh yeah. Or they trashed their previous owner.
No. Someone that's so that might be a flag too, but what I'm talking about is the people that are like, well, you know, in 6 months I want to open my own place.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Then I'm sorry, but I'm not going to invest in you for 6 months. It doesn't make sense to me. And we don't do non-competes, and we don't do harsh feelings or have any grudges towards anybody that leaves. If you don't think it's the right fit at our salon, I don't want you there.
Yeah,
Period.
mutually.
So you have to figure out exactly who you're looking for in an employee, and it's not going to be perfect because perfect people aren't always going to walk through the door.
Right.
So there might be a list that you create of attributes or skills or personality traits, whatever, that you're looking for in a person.
Yes.
And then what are your non-negotiables?
And I will say that will change too. Like,
well, as your business requires different
or as your
things,
team,
yeah, right?
As your team evolves, you might find holes that were not in that team the year prior. You might be like, wow, I really could use somebody that specializes in something, or somebody that brings a different energy. Like that might be something that you are lacking, and you have to find that. I also want to touch on the owners that have been doing it for as long as I have. Part of your exhaustion comes from you've had 5, 10, 15, 50, 60 people come and go through your doors, which creates ups and downs. But you're in it for the long haul. And because of that, even though that can be exhausting to have your team keep turning over and looking different, you each time learn from that and become a better owner. So in today's world, you have so much knowledge to offer. And that might be even as much as, like you were saying, Todd, like, what is your mission? What is your vision? What employees do you want to attract? Maybe you didn't have to think about that 15 years ago, but in today's world you do, and take all of those people that came through your doors, and maybe you start to figure out the ones that maybe you miss or added something to your culture. And that's how you start to put that portfolio together of the best employees. So you can turn some of those feelings into great advantages in today's world.
Yeah. So I would back that up with saying, like, don't take things so personally.
Easier said than done, but yes.
Yeah. Because it happens in other industries too, but in this industry, for some reason, people love to, when they leave a business, they love to burn bridges.
Yes.
So they like to talk,
which makes no sense.
Yeah, they like to talk some sort of smack. You know, you were the best for. It's like when you break up with a girl or a guy, right? They were the best, right? You loved them so much. You break up with them, that bomb.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
True.
You know what I'm talking about?
And it doesn't have to go that way. And especially in this industry, it's small. I'm sorry, it is. And if you're in it long term, you will re-see people.
So here, I don't know why exactly people would do that, but my guess is that it comes from a place of insecurity and uncertainty. Like the people that are leaving, they're not sure. So they want to create an echo chamber. So if they can talk, it's a lot easier to find somebody that's going to join you in misery.
Right. Of course.
And then celebrate, like, yeah, girl, whatever, you know, yeah, guy.
I agree.
I don't think us guys do that.
Yeah,
We're
dude.
more like a, yeah, bro. I don't know.
I'm a bro.
But But don't let that stuff get to you. And I would just tune that stuff out because, like you said, you run into people again, but also it is a small world. Mm-hmm. So hair pros, like there's no reason that you should be putting down businesses.
Yeah, agreed.
Especially businesses. Like I've heard stuff about us and I'm like, wow, we've done nothing but try to grow that person. Yeah. But okay, here we are. Now, here's the deal. Businesses also, and I'm not trying to frighten anybody, but I recently looked into purchasing a salon. What happens when I purchase the salon that you're at and you trashed me? Guess what the first order of business is? You're fucking fired.
Seriously.
Get out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do. People don't think one step ahead of themselves. They just don't.
No. So anyways, what are people looking for?
I think that's really important in today's world. What does the employees that are coming in, you've got to listen to what they're looking for too. And that may not be even a business you ran before, but if you want to play in today's game, you're going to have to make some changes in your business that you're okay with and that still can fit your mission and vision and all of that. But they do have to play in today's world and what people are looking for. We've changed so much even over the last couple months with interviewing people and things they were asking that I didn't even realize there was a real need for. Till it was asked a bunch of times. And then it was like, whoa, okay, we need to figure this out.
Right. We were meeting people that were looking for assistant programs.
Yeah.
Is the last big one. And guess what we're doing now? We're creating an assistant program. And that's a good point. So the first thing that you can think about, and I don't want you to do all of these. If you're listening and you're like, I need to build a team or I need to do some stuff to engage my staff. Don't be desperate when you do this. And
this is a marathon.
And try everything.
Take a minute. Don't be Tasmanian devil.
Yeah, no, don't do that. And when you think about what people are looking for, make sure it's the people that fit your business as well. I don't care what somebody's looking for that's not a good fit for my business. Their opinion's irrelevant.
Yep, really important
And that's not to be mean. It's just if somebody's not going to work for me either way, or they're not going to be a good fit long term, I'm not going to take what they say and make changes to my fucking business. That makes no sense. So I have here opportunities. So a clear path to opportunities. What does growth look like here? Mm-hmm. And it should be, you should be able to do this in a way that's unlimited.
Right.
Now, I know people are super uncomfortable with raising prices and things like that. So they're going to come at you with, I want more commission and all this stuff. But here's the deal. If you can show them through math, through numbers, how they'll make money, how they'll progress, how they'll feel good about themselves, how they'll make more money, how they'll progress further,
and how they'll feel celebrate
better
that.
Than, better than they even felt before, or whatever I was saying before you cut me off. I'm just kidding. But people want opportunity and they want the quickest line of action. So you have to, as a mentor, which is what you should be doing with people, you have to show them how to get from A to B in the quickest way possible. And the quickest way might be a year's worth of work. I don't know. It could be 8 weeks. It could be 6 weeks. It could be 6 months. It could be a year. It could be 2 years. Who knows? It depends on what that person wants.
Right.
So I think that's an important one right there, is to understand what people are looking for and then create opportunities for them to achieve those things.
Yeah.
Because without opportunity, people leave. If I look at a business that I'm working in, say you are working in a business, could be in any field, and you just feel you're capped out.
Right.
This is the most money I'll ever make. I can't make more here because their pricing structure ends and I'm at the top and I really don't want to add days.
Right.
So I guess I need to leave.
Yeah.
What would you think? Put yourself in those shoes. A big one, and this is one that's tough. It's tough at our salon. I struggle with it a little bit, but people want flexibility.
As an owner, it is tough, yes, but it's how you will retain your employees. Like that's one thing that they really, really want. So you have to find a way to figure out what that freedom and flexibility is while your business can still grow and financially be stable.
Yeah, true. So I think flexibility is almost essential. I think
it is.
In 2020, we're in what, July 2023. So we're halfway through 2023. And as far as I can tell, flexibility is not something that people are willing to negotiate.
Correct. You'll lose people right away.
You have people that are younger, that are coming out, that are just used to not doing as much. They're not used to putting in the effort that you put in. And even if they do, you will never see it because you come from a different generation. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
The generation before is always going to be like, look at these kids. Like, look back in the day when they were like, look at these hippies with the long hair. And then the hippies became the parents. And they were like, look at these kids. And then our parents became the parents. And then, you know what I mean? Yeah. Everyone is saying, look at these kids. It's not the kids' fault. It's the generation before that leads them or that deters them from doing something. So you have to look at what is going to work for you. You have to still have rules. Flexibility doesn't mean come and go as you please.
Right. I was going to say even structure. Yes.
And that's another thing.
And people want rules and structure.
Yeah, for sure. It can't be a free for all, but you have to figure out a way that you can offer flexibility, whether that's a flexible schedule, whether that is, taking days off, like if you don't have, yes, stuff like that. And if you have specific questions on any of these, don't hesitate to reach out.
Absolutely.
So people definitely want to work with strong, talented hair pros alongside them, especially younger people. If you can figure out now, what does that mean? It doesn't mean that you're super talented and you just do shit and tear it up every day. It means that strong, talented leadership, you should be showing them how to achieve what you can do.
Correct.
You should be not gatekeeping. You should be not holding people back. You should not be trying to deter people from progress so that they stick around longer or whatever. I think that's an old tactic. I've talked to people who don't, you don't want people to move up through the ranks too fast because then they'll leave.
Inevitably, people are going to leave either way.
People are leaving anyways. Yeah. That's why we're talking about this.
Yeah. I think too, with the leadership of your team, you got to get your team on board so that they're helping you. Like I can walk in our salon and, help my apprentice start with the other day foiling, right? And before I know it, I've got one of our teammates jumping in to help her because I'm with a client. And it's wonderful to see. Like it doesn't mean that to have, I guess, talented people in your salon does not mean they need to be doing hair for 10, 15, 20 years. We've got people 2-3 years in and they're super talented and they want to help anyone new that's coming in. So I think if you're a salon, like how do we retain people? And Todd just said, oh, you need to have talented staff. You're like, well, that would take forever. No, it doesn't, because we've got people a couple years in and they are super talented, still willing to learn and have an open mind, and also still willing to come in and they want to help those younger students that are coming into our business too. So it's really amazing when you have that, because then that takes something off your plate and it's not all on you as the leader. For sure. I think, I don't know why I just said like that, but anyways, here we are. Say the last part again. What I was going to get at is the education portion. I don't care. We're not talking about educating for a brand. I don't care about that BS. What I'm talking about right now is educating in general. So if you create a culture of education and support and collaboration, people are going to help each other out. You don't have to be years and years. I remember talking to someone and they were like, I thought I had to do hair for 10 years before I could educate. I was like, where did you read that? 1, 2, I'll do whatever I want in my business. Thanks though. There I am with the again. Anyways, create an atmosphere where people are stepping in and people are excited and people want to not only learn, but to help the people alongside, because that's very rewarding. Yes. It makes you feel good. And it does grow your culture because you have your staff helping your staff, which creates a relationship just of a working balance, which is really important and can be very rare. So if you can do that, it really does create the magic in your salon. Now, let's talk about follow through, because this is important. Because if you look at social media, every single salon says they're collaborative. It's a new buzzword. Every single word says, or every single salon says that education's most important. That's been a buzzword for a while. You have to follow through. You have, no more talking,
Take action.
Which that's it.
If you want to talk,
It's a lot of work.
talk to us.
Yeah.
We'll talk to you. But it's time to like take action.
Yeah.
It's not time to go to social media and be like, we're a collaborative effort, blah, blah, blah. Like, okay, cool. So is literally every salon that I've looked at in the past 6 months.
And here's the other thing too, because this is something we've implemented over the last year or so. It's easy to say, well, I don't have time. I'm so busy. We're all so busy being busy, doing whatever the things you do, whatever hat you wear. So what I created recently in our salon was...
That was a good episode. We did an episode on busy. And
did
how
we?
And how it's not
busy?
real. Yeah.
So in order to engage our staff and make it really accessible for education, because not everybody lives in our town, I just did a basic color class a couple weeks ago, and I put it on Zoom. So I'm like, if you guys want to come in the salon, I will be there from this time to this. And if you choose not to, can't, don't want to, whatever, you can Zoom in. So created a Zoom class. People came on, put your camera on. It doesn't matter to me. But if you want extra education or kind of a refresher, I want this to be easy for you, and you can do it wherever you are. And one of our senior staff, she Zoomed in, and she just said the other day, she's like, I just learned so much. And at first was like, I don't feel like getting up and going to the salon. She was like, wait, I can Zoom in, camera off in bed with my coffee, and just learn a ton of shit. And it was amazing. So there's lots of ways where it doesn't take a ton of your time and a ton of your effort, but you can still reach your staff and make it really easy and fun.
Yep. Let's go back to structure for a second. So then we can move on. A structure is something that a business needs. You need to show people that you have structure, because if your business doesn't have like an employee handbook, what are you drawing rules from?
Right. Thin air.
If your business doesn't have a foundation written down, it doesn't have its core principles ironed out, it doesn't have a mission or a vision, what are you making decisions from?
Right.
If you put together an assistant program into, say, associate, into stylist, into senior stylist, right? Mm-hmm. Whatever. You put together a program, but you didn't write it down. Well, how does anybody know?
Right.
So you have to start doing some of the behind the scenes things that you've most likely put off for the last 27 years because you didn't think it was necessary. Well, welcome to 2023. It's necessary now. You should have did it before, but guess where the second best time is? Right now. Grab a pencil and a paper. Start writing down some sort of system.
You'll be less exhausted in the future because you're doing that work now.
Yeah. And we have a podcast about creating systems for your business as well, somewhere. Look back through. It should be easy to find. I think it was, I don't know, whenever. If you don't have structure like that, it's just chaos inevitably is going to creep in. And then you might be
putting out the same fire over and over again.
Yeah, for no reason. And then you might be faced with the same problem of, I'm not keeping employees. Right. Well, there's nothing in place to keep employees. Right. There's nothing for like them to, there's nothing tangible. There's nothing for them to grasp onto. If I do hair here, what's the difference if I do hair here?
Right.
Right? I mean, there's no difference. So what is going to separate your business is structure. Mm-hmm. Guidance, leadership, and support. So I think this one, and this is a direct note from one of our other podcasts, but oftentimes a new owner sets out and you have the purest of intentions, right? You're going to do everything. You're going to treat people amazing. You're going to give them
more than you ever had.
Yeah, so much stuff. And then you realize that your business is going to crumble, right? You quickly realize how much work's involved and you become overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And then what happens? So what happens there is all the promises that you made, because you don't have anything written down, get put on the back burner or forgot, and your stress starts to build. At this point, you're no longer able to provide the guidance that your employees need, because you're just putting out fires and you're just dealing with whatever. So you need to, everyone listening, work on your leadership skills. Work on, how do I support people? How do I guide people? You should be mentoring your staff.
Yeah. And
if you can't do that, you need to add a management layer. Maybe it's time for that. Maybe that will invigorate your salon. I don't know. Definitely some sort of evaluation process. I know I mentioned it in the beginning, but what are you doing and how many people are coming in? So we went to a local school recently. We met with like 120, I think, say, whatever.
Yeah, a lot.
And we had like maybe say 10, 12, I don't know, reach out. From those, we had, say, like 7 or 8, however many actual meetings that took place. From those, we had 3 or 4 like good fits. Our goal was to take 2.
Yes.
So I let people know, hey, we were limited on spots and we filled them. But I asked people to stay in touch because there's no reason to burn the bridge.
Right.
Right. And some people won't. Some people blow you off. Some people don't reply. And I get it too. It's hard. Like, it feels like you're being rejected. But here's the deal.
It's not even easy to say we're not taking you. Like, that's not even.
Oh, no, it sucks.
Yeah, it does.
I absolutely wish that I could hire everyone, give them the chance to prove me wrong. That's what I would do if I could.
That's not reality.
But we don't have the shifts and the chairs available. We have X amount of chairs and X amount of shifts.
Yes.
And some of them are full. And so I only have what's remaining.
And we were looking to fill in some certain things in the salon that we thought would be great for growing it too. So that was today. That in a couple months will change. So that's how that goes. Yeah,
for sure. I have a couple of other, this is just from another podcast that we did, but putting people in, I can just run through these and you can add or hit me back with a question or whatever, but put people in the position to succeed.
Yes.
Help people focus on themselves and what's best for them. So don't always approach this as you have to know what you're looking for, but you also have to understand, again, what the people are looking for.
You have to customize that.
And what's going to be best for them.
Yeah, agreed.
Because that gets tricky with some of these things, especially when you start offering freedoms. So, for example, we offer a lot of flexibility. The people that constantly block out their schedules, take all the time off, always are coming back to us and they're like, I need to make more money. Right.
Then we have that conversation.
Yeah. Hey, you blocked off 79%. I'm just exaggerating here. I'm having fun, right? But you blocked off 80% of your time in the last 3 months. You've worked 2 hours a week. And again,
they may not realize that. So when we set that out for them, they're like, oh, shoot. Or we know some people's goals, you want to raise your prices. Okay, well, here's what we need to do in order to get you there, which means being available, which means showing up. Do you really want this in this time period? And it's a yes or no. And then we guide them through that. Which also means creating a little bit of scarcity. So you have to be booked in X amount of hours or percent, how we look at it. Because we want that to be successful for them. Yeah. And if you don't, if you rush it, you're going to regress. Yes. And you're going to set somebody back. And that's on those conversations too. That's on you as the owner and on them as well. But it's mostly on you as the owner because you should be mentoring. And treating them like adults. And mistakes happen, but you have to, I guess, constantly be in contact, constantly be, when I say mentor, you should be there when there's a problem. Instead of looking at someone's schedule and be like, I gave them flexibility and now they take off every day and now they don't do this. And now they're wondering why, I'm so frustrated. Take that frustration and have a conversation with them and say, hey, this is concerning. Right. Do you want to change your schedule? Right. Maybe they're working Wednesdays and you notice they take off every Wednesday. If you have you could get pissed off at them, or you could have the conversation and be like, hey, what's going on Wednesdays? Like, oh, my sister's car's broken right now. We're sharing a car and it's just hard because she has, why don't you switch a day for now? And whatever. I'm just making stuff up, but you know what I mean. Understand what people genuinely want. Create opportunities, which we've already said. This is a big one too. Like, have people's back and then demonstrate that you have their back. Yes. When people mess up, so you say you hire some newer people, say you hire people out of school, they're going to make mistakes. They should be, at least. It's inevitable. You're not a phenom. You're not going to never make a mistake. Even I still make mistakes. Do tell. On the next episode. So, just have people's back. Go through it with them. Hey, do you understand why you made this mistake? What? Right. Like, it's a learning opportunity. Yeah. I now, actually, one of the things I started doing in our salon is when we do have, say a client needs a redo or something's come up, I try my best. And so far it's been 100% of the time. I want to take the redo because I want to see their work in real time so I can actually have a conversation with them. And it's just something that I've taken on because we have some younger staff members and I want to help them grow as fast as we can and get their quality of work up there. So I've been able to really, it helps retain the client because they feel important that I'm fixing it or doing whatever needs to be done. But then I let that client know too, like I'm going to use this as an education to teach the stylist, like what they would need to do next time. And that kind of goes full circle. People think that's super cool. The staff member isn't so stressed out because we're just going to have a conversation, but it's part of it.
For sure. And I was going to say that just working through the process with somebody, like asking, what were you thinking here? Not in a negative way, but help me understand why you did this.
Right.
So that I can guide you and maybe we can clean this up a bit. Watching somebody work through a haircut and why did you take that section there? Why did you section this way? Why did you do this? What were you thinking? Oh, well, I thought this. Okay, great. You have it backwards. Flip that in your head. Does that make sense? Yes. Let's do it. Now you watch me do it. So maybe you grab a mannequin. You watch me do it. Then we do it together. Then you do it. And then I assess. That's an easy way to teach right there.
Yeah.
So if you don't feel like rewinding, demonstrate something for the person, then do it together with the person, then have them do it while you observe, and then provide feedback. 4 steps. We talk a lot about flexibility, but also people want rules to follow. So it cannot be a free-for-all. So make sure that you're setting firmer rules and structure to your business, and then you can have the flexibility in between those rules. That's a big part of how we explain things to our staff, and especially bringing new people on. It's here are the rules. Here's what we expect. So for us, cleanliness and the clients come first. So cleanliness could be whatever. If you drop something on the floor, pick it up. That's one of my pet peeves. Don't leave it on the floor. What are you doing? If you make a mess of something, just clean it up. Don't go so if your client leaves, clean up your station, then go do whatever you have to do.
Yeah.
Right? Don't leave your station and dirty and go have lunch and be like, oh, I'll get that after. You will not.
No way.
You will not. We don't have anybody that does that.
No.
I don't think, but all right. The other couple things. So I had having the conversation that needs to be had. Sometimes you need to be firm with people. Sometimes people aren't getting it and you need to tell them why, or you need to ask them why they're not getting it because it's your fault. It's a lack of communication somewhere. And it's not something that you have set up as a system. If people are wondering, or you're always mad about somebody didn't clean a specific way, but you notice it's constantly happening, that's you, not them.
Right. You have to show them.
Right. And now if you're showing them and you have the system in place and they're not doing it, that person might not be a good fit.
Right. And I'll tell you this, because we've had a few of that too, but 9 times out of 10, most people, in our salon at least, well received. And then they're like, oh, I never even realized that. I didn't think of it like that. Or sometimes they just need a system. Like if something feels overwhelming to somebody and they don't know where to start. So sometimes with people, especially coming out of school, I'm like, all right, so when you finish your client, this is what I want you to do. For us, we re-weigh a bowl and then you're going to do this, clean it here, wipe everything down, blah, 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 whatever. And they're like, oh, okay, that totally makes sense. They just didn't have a process in their head and they don't know what to do. So they're frozen till after the appointment. That's not how we do it in our salon. This is how it works. And this is what it looks like. And then they're fine.
The last 2 that I have here are accountability and consistent dialogue. And I think those go together. So accountability needs to be there. You need to be able to ask people why they're doing what they're doing.
Yeah.
I think I had another thought, but I forget. And then consistent dialogue is just, like you said, constantly checking in just a second ago. Every time I'm in the salon, I try to grab people like, how are things going?
Right.
I remember what I was going to say about accountability. I always will start my side of the conversation when I'm finished listening because somebody has an issue and I want to know what the issue is. So say somebody says, I want to be busier, right? That's an easy one because most people starting out say that. I want to be busier. My first question after they're done explaining that to me is, great. I can appreciate that. What have you tried already? What have you done?
Right.
And that creates a sense of accountability in people because even though they're employees, this is a modern day thing. It takes, now I know a lot of people out there will say well, if it's a commission salon, you're responsible. Bullshit.
Well, yeah, I can't meet and greet people for you.
I can get people in the door, but I can't.
It's a relationship. It's a working relationship.
I can't service them all.
Right.
You have to do that part. I can't retain them all. You have to do that part. Like, there are certain things that you have to do if you want to build a clientele.
Absolutely.
And if you can't do it on your own, you're not going to do it out at renting a chair.
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
You know what I mean? So if
practice is what you need to do here.
Right. So accountability and just consistent dialogue. It might be in the beginning, it could be weekly meetings. Mm-hmm. And that's probably stressful to hear if you're an exhausted business owner, but would you rather put in a little bit more work now and have the payoff, or would you rather just keep pushing this back and you're going to just burn out?
And I think as an owner, if you're someone that hasn't been doing this, a piece of advice from me or something that I've learned over time is when you go into those conversations, you have no idea what's going to happen. You don't know what they're going to say. You may think you do, and then you're all stressed out because they're going to be mad about this or that. Give the person a chance. Because again, at the end of the day, if they're not a great fit, they're not a great fit. But go into that conversation open-minded. Go in with the things you need to speak about. Let them speak, but don't try to like figure out how that conversation is going to go, because you're never going to be on the right page with that.
Yeah. So the scenarios we create in our heads,
they're not real.
Are almost always wrong.
Correct.
You always think the worst case scenario, because that's just our flight or fright sort of thing. And
if Jenny needs to clean more, you're just going to go in, you're going to tell Jenny she needs to clean more. And more often than not, she's going to be like, oh, thanks for letting me know.
Right.
And then maybe says, how do I do that better? Oh, let me show you.
Let me point out the system that I created right here. It's written down how to clean your tools or whatever. Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So we're a little long-winded here, but I hope that helps anybody that's looking to not only build a team, but retain.
Yeah.
And if you need help, I guess reach out.
Sounds good to me.
All right. Bye.
Bye.